The galaxy moved in silence. Stars burning cold in the endless dark alien ships glided across the void with steady confidence. They had no fear, for they believed the stories of humans were nothing but old myths, tales told by the elders to keep young soldiers awake at night. One officer leaned back in his chair and laughed softly. Humans are only shadows, nothing more. We all know that. But the captain did not laugh. His eyes fixed on the scanner screen, where a faint ripple appeared. It was small, almost invisible, but it did not belong to any known signal. The crew muttered among themselves, brushing it away as space dust. Yet the captain's voice was calm and sharp. "Do not ignore this. Track it," his tone silenced. The room. The pilot frowned as numbers jumped across the console. "It's not natural, sir, and it's not one of ours either." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Another soldier tried to lighten the mood. "Maybe it's a ghost, maybe one of those human legends." The words were meant to joke, but the silence that followed made them sound like a warning. The captain stood tall, his cloak brushing the floor. "Legends are dangerous because they are born from fear," he said slowly, his words heavy in the air. One younger crew member whispered, "But sir, if humans were real, where have they been all this time? Why have we never seen them?" The captain turned, his eyes cold. Perhaps they did not want to be seen. Before anyone could answer, the scanner screamed louder, the ripple growing, twisting like a wound in space itself. The ship shuddered as if the void had teeth. "What is that?" shouted one officer, hands flying over the control pads. The pilot stammered, It's opening." The crew leaned forward, their eyes wide, as the blackness tore itself apart and a new shape began to form. "Contact command," the captain ordered, but the communicator burst into static. No signal could escape. The room filled with the shrill cry of interference. One soldier slammed his fist against the panel. "It's blocking us, whatever it is. It knows we're here." The captain clenched his jaw. "Stay steady, we will not show fear." But inside, even he felt the shadow of something ancient pressing down on them. As the void rippled again, a sound broke through the static, a voice, rough and strange, yet filled with power. "We are here." The words were in human language. Not alien. The crew froze. Not one dared breathe. One officer shook his head wildly. "No, it's impossible. Humans do not exist." But the voice came again, clearer now. "We remember," the navigator whispered, his hands trembling. "Sir, our sensors are locking onto structures." "No ships, many ships." The captain's chest tightened. "How many?" he demanded. The navigator swallowed hard. "Dozens. Maybe hundreds. They're hidden inside the void." The pilot's eyes widened. "But they're massive, sir, larger than anything we've built." Fear spread like fire across the bridge. Another soldier shouted, "They were supposed to be extinct, destroyed long before our time." But the captain's gaze never left the dark window ahead. The stars themselves seemed to vanish as colossal shadows slid out of the tear in space. The first warship emerged like a mountain of black steel. No lights, no signals, only silence, followed by another and another, until the void was filled with them. The alien crew trembled, their bodies stiff. One whispered, "The Armada! It's real." The old tales were true. The captain gripped the rail with iron strength, his voice low but firm. "Legends do not rise from nothing, and now we see the truth. Humans have been waiting." The ships moved with perfect unity, like predators circling prey. No noise, no warning, only power that made the alien vessel feel like a fragile shell. "Arm weapons!" one officer cried out in panic, but the captain raised his hand sharply. "No, do not strike, not yet. They are testing us," the crew argued. "We cannot just wait. They will kill us." The pilot's voice cracked. "Sir, they are scanning us. Every system is being read." Screens flickered, codes burned out. The ship was naked before the Armada. The captain finally spoke. "If humans wanted us dead, we would already be gone." This is not an attack. This is a message, one officer whispered. What message? The captain's eyes narrowed, his voice deep as thunder. That the legends live, and we should be afraid. The Armada hung in silence, their black hulls reflecting no light, their presence a weight heavier than war. Then the same human voice echoed again, calm, sharp, endless. Humanity is not gone. The crew could not move, their blood cold. The captain's heart beat like a drum, he whispered to himself. Then the galaxy is not ready for what comes next. The alien ship drifted in silence. After the first contact, the crew sat frozen at their stations. No one dared to speak too loudly. The scanners pulsed with warnings, lights flashing red across every panel. One officer finally broke the silence, his voice trembling. "Sir, what do we do now? They are surrounding us." The captain's jaw was tight, his eyes fixed on the massive shadows outside the viewport. "We wait," he said, his tone sharp and heavy. Another soldier slammed his hands against the console. "Wait for what? For them to destroy us. We should fire. We should call for help." But the communicator still hissed with static. No signal could escape. Then the strange human voice returned, calm and low. "We remember." The words rolled through the bridge like thunder. The navigator whispered, "They are speaking to us. They know we can hear them." The captain nodded slowly, "And they want us to know who they are." The crew exchanged fearful glances. One young recruit whispered, "Maybe they will let us go if we surrender." But the captain's cold reply came quickly. "You cannot surrender to shadows, and these are no shadows. They are hunters." Outside, the dark fleet moved closer, their hulls shining faintly with lines of unknown energy. The alien crew could feel the weight of every ship, as if the air itself was being crushed. The pilot struggled with the controls. "Sir, our engines are not responding. It's like they are locked by an external force." Panic rippled through the bridge. One officer shouted, "They have disabled us. We are prisoners." The captain raised his hand, commanding silence. "No, they are showing us power. This is a warning, nothing more." His words sounded strong, but deep in his chest. Even he felt the sharp edge. Of fear, the scanner operator gasped suddenly. "Captain, I am detecting something else, not only ships, but signals, layers of old transmissions, hidden inside the static, sir. They are human languages, dozens of them." The room filled with unease. The crew whispered among themselves. The captain ordered, "Play it!" The sound burst into the room. Old voices layered upon each other. Some were cries of battle, others were commands. Some were cold silence broken by single words. Fight. Hold. Never forget. The voices were human, raw, alive, even though they came from the void. The youngest soldier covered his ears. "It feels like they are inside my head," he whispered. The navigator shook his head. "Sir, these are not just voices. They are recordings. They are memories. It is like the humans left their ghosts behind." The captain stared at the screen, his voice low. "Not ghosts. Warnings." Suddenly, the largest ship in the Armada lit up with pale light, its hull glowing. With patterns, then a beam of white energy cut across the void, but it did not strike. It traced a line in empty space, forming shapes. The crew gasped. "It's a map," one officer said, their eyes wide. "A star map." The glowing lines showed territories, planets and routes, some of them long forgotten, others known well to the aliens. But at the center of the map was a circle marked. In fire, a place the galaxy had called dead. "A system destroyed ages ago," the captain whispered. "Sol." His crew turned to him, confused. "The human home. It still exists." The officer beside him shook his head wildly. "No, that is impossible. Our ancestors burned it. History says it was wiped from existence." But the map burned brighter, the circle alive with fire. The human voice thundered again. "We remember." The crew felt the deck shiver, as though The ship itself trembled under the words. "They are calling us to sea," the navigator muttered. "They want us to know they are still there." The captain gripped the railing, his voice like iron. "No, they want us to fear. They want the galaxy to know that humans never died. They only hid, and now they return." The crew broke into shouts. "We must leave, sir. We must escape. If the Armada follows us, we are doomed." The pilot's hands shook as he tried the engines again. "Still locked. I cannot move us." The captain said nothing. His eyes locked on the dark warships outside. Then slowly, the massive human vessels shifted, parting just enough to open a narrow path. The crew froze. The communications cleared, static fading. The navigator gasped, "Sir, they are letting us go." The captain's voice was cold. "No, they are sending us back, carrying their message." One officer cried out, "We cannot. If we return with this, the galaxy will fall into panic." But the captain shook his head. "That is exactly what they want. Fear is their first weapon." The Armada hung in silence, not moving, not speaking again. The alien ship's engines came alive on their own, guided by invisible hands. The pilot's voice cracked. "I am not touching the controls. They are flying us away." The youngest recruit whispered in horror. "They could have killed us. Why didn't they?" The captain finally answered. "Because legends do not kill too soon. Legends wait until everyone believes in them again." The ship turned back toward familiar stars, leaving the void behind. The crew sat in silence, every heart heavy with terror. On the screen behind them the map still glowed, the circle of Sol burning bright. The human voice echoed one last time. Before fading into nothing, "We remember." The crew could not speak, but in their eyes was the truth. Humans were no myth, no story. They were waiting in the dark, and the galaxy was no longer safe. The captain lowered his head. His final words carried like a shadow, "And now the legend has returned to life." The alien vessel raced back toward known space, its engines no longer bound by the unseen grip of the Armada, yet the crew could not feel relief. Silence hung over the bridge like a heavy chain. Every officer lost in fear, every screen still flickering with echoes of the human voice. "We remember." The youngest soldier broke first, his voice shaking. "Sir, what if command does not believe us? What if they say we are mad?" The captain's face was hard as stone, his eyes locked on the stars rushing past. "They will believe once they see the map, once they hear the voice." Another officer snapped, panic creeping into his tone. "But if they believe, they will panic. They will try to prepare for war. And can anyone fight such a fleet?" The navigator muttered bitterly, "Not us, not anyone." Hours passed before the familiar glow of their colony's system came into view. The crew cheered weakly, but the joy was hollow. The captain did not join them. He felt the weight of the Armada pressing still, as if its shadow followed. The ship docked at the orbital station. Waiting guards hurried on board, their leader demanding, "Captain, why have you broken protocol? Why is your crew pale with fear?" The captain said nothing, only gestured toward the records. The map and the recordings. The guards scoffed at first. One sneered, "Old tricks, faked signals. You have let your minds play games." But then the voice played through the speakers, calm and endless. "We remember." The station fell into silence. Even the guards trembled. Within hours, the council was gathered, leaders from across the system seated in a grand chamber of steel and glass. The captain stood before them, the map glowing behind him, the circle of Sol burning like fire. One council member leaned forward, his face pale. "You are certain this is no trick?" The captain's voice was steady. "I saw them with my own eyes. Hundreds of ships, larger than anything we have ever built. They could have ended us, but they did not. They sent us back. They want you to know they live." The chamber erupted in shouts. "Impossible! They are myths. If they live, why return now? We must prepare for war." The noise shook the walls. The captain raised his hand, silencing them. "They do not want war, not yet. They want fear. They want the galaxy to know legends breathe again." One council member slammed his fist. "Then we must strike first, find their world and burn it again," the navigator shouted. From the side, unable to contain himself, "You fool! If you strike, they will erase us all. They are not hiding anymore. They are stronger than we can dream." His words echoed, but many refused to listen. Pride stronger than fear. As the council argued, a low hum filled the chamber. Lights flickered, screens went dark. The voice returned, not from the captain's ship, not from any device, but from the very air itself. "We remember." Panic tore through the chamber. Council members clutched their heads. Guards drew weapons at shadows. The captain alone stood tall, whispering, "They are watching us." The hum grew louder until the glass walls glowed faintly, forming a vision. Outside the station, in the deep black, a shape appeared, massive and cold, a single human warship, drifting without sound, its hull blacker than the void itself. Gasps filled the room. The council froze. One leader stammered, "They followed you. They were never gone." The captain nodded grimly. "They want us to know we are never alone, even in our strongest halls. They can reach us." The ship outside did not fire, did not move. It simply hung in space, watching, its silence heavier than any threat. The youngest recruit whispered, "Why do they not strike?" The captain's reply was a whisper that chilled the chamber. "Because they want us to fear every moment. They want us to see them even when they are not there. That is their weapon." Suddenly, the warship outside flickered and vanished, as if it had never been there. The council erupted again, some crying for defense, others demanding surrender. Chaos tore through the room. The captain turned his gaze to the glowing circle on the map, his voice breaking through the noise. "You may argue, you may deny, but the truth is here. Humans live and they wait. The Armada is not a story, it is our future, and we are not ready." Silence followed his words, heavy and suffocating. Later that night, the captain stood alone on the station's observation deck. Stars burning quiet outside, his navigator approached slowly, voice low. "Sir, what happens now?" The captain did not turn, his eyes still fixed on the void. "Now we wait and we prepare, but it will not be enough." The navigator swallowed hard. "Do you believe they will strike soon?" The captain closed his eyes. "No, they will not strike soon. That is what makes it worse. They will wait until we tell ourselves they are not real. And then they will come," the navigator whispered. "And what will we do when they come?" The captain finally turned, his face pale but his eyes burning. "We will remember as they do, but we will not survive as they did." Behind them, unseen deep in the cold dark beyond their stars, the Armada waited, hundreds of ships drifting in silence, unseen eyes watching, patient as stone. Their message already spreading, their legend reborn. The station did not sleep after the human warship appeared and vanished. Alarms echoed through every corridor. Soldiers stood ready with weapons shaking in their hands, yet no enemy came. The council remained locked in their chambers, shouting and blaming each other. The captain stood silent at the center, his eyes fixed on the glowing circle of Sul. One council member yelled, "We must form an alliance, gather fleets from every system, strike before they grow stronger." Another slammed his fist on the table. "Fool! You saw their power. No fleet can match them." Panic grew with every voice. The chamber filled with fear instead of unity. The youngest recruit, who had traveled back with the captain, whispered from the shadows, "Sir, why do they play with us? Why do they show us their ships but not destroy us?" The captain answered without looking at him, his voice sharp. "Because fear is stronger than fire. They want the galaxy to fight itself before they even move." His words spread across the room like poison, silencing the noise. A council leader stood trembling. "Then what are we to do if war cannot be won, if peace cannot be trusted?" The captain finally turned, his face pale but his voice like iron. "We must understand them. We must know why they waited, why they return now." Suddenly, the screens across the chamber lit up on their own, showing stars twisting, the map. Burned again, lines of light crawling across the galaxy, systems lit in red one by one, gasps filled the room. Those are colonies. Ours, they are marking us, one officer cried out. The captain narrowed his eyes. No, they are not marking us. They are reminding us. These are places where humans once walked, the navigator stammered. But these worlds are ours. We have lived there for centuries. The captain's reply was cold. We only lived there because we forgot. Now they remind us that the ground beneath our feet was never truly ours. The hum grew louder. Voices layered again. Not one, but many. We remember. The words overlapped like waves. The crew covered their ears. But the sound was not in their ears. It was in their bones. One soldier fell to his knees, crying, "Make it stop! They are inside my head!" The lights flickered, and for a moment the chamber walls dissolved into visions. Shadows of human soldiers marching, their faces hidden, their weapons bright. Battles long past replayed before their eyes, screams of war, fire raining from skies. The captain whispered, "They are showing us history." Their history. Then the vision broke. Silence, crushing down again. The council was pale, trembling like children. One leader shouted, "Enough, enough of this madness. We cannot live under their shadow." He drew a weapon and pointed it at the glowing map, as if destroying the image would save him. But the weapon melted in his hand before he could fire, metal dripping like liquid. A voice spoke coldly, "We are already here." The chamber froze. The voice came from everywhere, every wall, every screen, every breath of air. The captain looked around slowly, his heart steady despite the fear. "Show yourselves," he commanded. The chamber shook, and beyond the glass, walls of the station, more shadows slid from the void, dozens of human ships surrounding the system, their black hulls gliding without sound. Alarms screamed. The station guards scrambled to raise defenses, but the weapons did not respond. The youngest recruit whispered, "They have locked us again. We are prisoners." The captain nodded. "Yes, but not prisoners of war. Prisoners of memory." The largest ship turned, its dark surface lighting with strange symbols. Then a beam cut across space again, this time striking the station itself. But no fire, no destruction. Instead, the beam spread into the structure like veins. Every wall, glowing faint blue, the crew screamed, "We are under attack." But the captain raised his voice, "No, wait!" The glow spread until the whole chamber pulsed with light, and suddenly the station systems filled with data, ancient codes, records of battles, images of human fleets rising and falling. The crew gasped as the knowledge poured into their machines. "They are giving us something," one officer said. "But why?" The captain's eyes narrowed. "Not giving, showing. They want us to know their strength, to know they were never gone, to know that every story we told as a warning was true." One council leader collapsed to the floor, his voice broken. "This is not survival. This is doom. They will come for us all." The captain stepped forward, voice sharp. "No, they want us to spread the tale, to carry their legend. That is their weapon. Fear will reach farther than their ships can fly." Outside, the Armada hung in silence, the warships unmoving, the beam faded, and just like that, the station systems were free again. Weapons online, engines alive, but the human fleet did not attack. They drifted back into the dark as if swallowed by the stars. The youngest recruit whispered, "Why let us live again? Why let us see all this?" The captain looked at him with cold eyes. "Because they know we will carry their voice for them, and when the galaxy shakes with fear, then they will rise." The chamber remained still long after the ships vanished, the council broken, some weeping, some whispering, some refusing to believe their eyes, but the truth could not be denied. The map burned in their minds, the voices echoed in their bones. The captain turned and walked out, his cloak brushing the floor, his words a shadow behind him. "The legends have stepped into light, and the galaxy will never know peace again." The station woke to a new kind of fear, not the loud fear of alarms and running feet, but a quiet fear that lived in the bones. The council argued until their voices broke. Some shouted for war, some begged for surrender. Guards stood at doors with shaking hands. The captain listened and said little, his eyes on the dark window. Where stars looked like cold eyes, the youngest recruit stood near him and whispered, "Sir, will they come back today?" The captain answered without turning, "They never left. They are only choosing not to be seen." A tech officer rushed. In pale and breathless, "Captain, we have a signal from the outer mining moon. The power grid failed. Our crews are trapped in the shafts, and something is moving on the surface," the council leader snapped. "Send the response fleet." But the officer shook his head in terror. "Our ships cannot launch their systems. Like the moment we power them, like before," the captain said, "we go small, we go quiet." And he chose a patrol shuttle that still obeyed. The shuttle slipped through the black as if it feared to disturb the dark. Inside, the captain checked. The old manual controls. The youngest recruit sat beside him, whispering, "Sir, why do they do this? Why show power and then let us breathe?" The captain's voice was low and dry. "Because fear grows when the hand is slow, not when the blade is quick." The mining moon turned under them like a grey coin. Smoke trailed from the main station. Rescue beacons blinked weak. "Open the channel," the captain said. The comm crackled. A foreman's voice broke with relief and panic. "We lost power. Backup failed. The shafts are filling with gas, and something is on the ridge. I swear by the stars I saw a shadow move like a ship, but there is no ship." The captain stared through the viewport. The ridge was empty, yet the air felt crowded. "Hold your teams," he said. "Do not run. Seal doors. Wait," the foreman cried. "Wait for what?" The captain answered. "For the thing that has already decided what happens here." They landed on a silent pad covered in dust. The doors slid open with a long groan. The air tasted like old metal. The recruit flinched. "Sir, listen." In the distance, a deep hum rolled under the ground, not loud, but steady, like a machine hidden under the skin of the moon. The captain followed the sound toward the ridge. He moved slow, hands open. As if approaching a wild animal on the crest, he stopped. There was nothing, only stone, only wind. But the hum was stronger. He knelt and brushed dust aside. Beneath his hand, a smooth surface appeared. Not rock, not alien. A plate of dark metal, like the hull of a sleeping ship. "Human," he breathed. The recruit whispered. "They hid a ship under the ridge." The captain shook his head. "No, not a ship, a door." The plate warmed under his palm. Symbols rose like light, simple lines and circles, not a language he knew, yet his eyes understood the shape of it. The metal spoke with a voice that was not a sound. "We remember." The recruit staggered back. "Sir, it's inside my head again." The plate split along an invisible seam and slid open. A narrow chamber yawned below. Stairs dropped into a blue glow like frozen water. The captain said, "Stay close." They descended into the hidden room. Its walls were smooth and black. The glow came from a single pillar at the center. Inside the pillar, shapes turned like slow sparks. A recording lived there. A thin voice began to speak, clear and gentle, not threatening at all. "If you are not human, then you walk where we once walked. This ground was ours, then yours, then whoever came after. Fear eats empires. We learned this, so we choose to speak softly," the recruit whispered. "Sir, they knew we would find this." The voice continued, "We do not need your fear to survive. Fear is not food. Fear is a door. It opens and lets truth in. If your leaders choose pride, they will burn you. If they choose silence, they will smother you. We choose to give you a path." The pillar flashed. Star lines drew themselves in the air. A map, but not like before. This one showed a thin corridor through space, a safe lane that curved around the dead zones where ships disappeared. At the end of the path, a small mark blinked, quiet as a heartbeat. The captain reached out, his fingers stopping an inch from the light. "A meeting place," he said. The recruit swallowed hard. "Sir, if we go, We may not come back." The captain nodded. "If we do not go, the galaxy may not live." Behind them, a clatter echoed up the stair. The captain spun. 3 station guards stumbled into the chamber, rifles raised, their commander's face hard with fear. "By order of the council, all human devices are to be destroyed. Step away." The youngest recruit lifted his hands. "Listen, we can talk." The commander's eyes shook. "No more talk. I saw the ship outside our station. I hear their voice. In my sleep, I will not live under the shadow of a ghost." His finger tightened on the trigger. The pillar pulsed once. A soft ring filled the room. The rifles sagged and melted like wax. The guards screamed and dropped them. The captain did not move. He said to the air, "We hear you." The pillar's voice returned, warm and sad. "We do not want your blood. We want your attention." The commander fell to his knees, tears in his eyes. "What do you want us to do?" The light drew the path again, slow and patient. The captain said, "They want a witness, not a war." The commander looked up with broken pride. "If we go, the council will call it treason." The captain answered, "If we do not go, the council will call it courage. Then they will die trying to prove it." The recruit whispered, "Sir, we cannot take a fleet through that path." "We do not have the power." The captain nodded. "We take one ship, small and quiet, like this shuttle. We show we are not a threat." They climbed out of the chamber. The plate slid closed as if nothing had been there. The foreman's voice came again over comms, shaky but alive. "Power is back, all on its own. Doors opened, the gas bled out. I don't understand." The captain said, "You do not need to. Keep your people calm." Then he turned to the commander. "You will say you failed to find us on the ridge." The commander stared at the dust, then nodded slowly. "I failed," he repeated in a dead voice. Back on the shuttle, the recruit fastened his harness with clumsy hands. "Sir, when we tell the council, they will lock you out." The captain's mouth tilted, not a smile. "Then we will not tell them." The commander stared at him, shocked. "You will go without orders," the captain said. "There is a voice older than orders." The shuttle lifted. The mining moon shrank. The safe lane drew itself across their nav screen like a thin thread. "Of light," the recruit whispered. "Do you trust this?" The captain stared into the dark. "No, but I trust what happens if we refuse it even less." The path bent around an empty region that sensors called quiet, but the quiet felt full. Lights dimmed as if the dark drank them. The shuttle floated without a sound, then a shape slid out ahead. Not a mountain ship, not a war spear, a small craft black as ink and thin as a blade. It turned once, slow and graceful. "Welcome," said the human voice, close and close and close, not on comms. Inside the heart, the recruit tensed. "Are we prisoners?" the voice replied. "No, you are guests." The captain spoke aloud. "We come to listen." The voice said, "Then follow." They flew the thread through drifting ruins that looked like shattered moons, past old fires that did not die. The small human craft guided them with no hurry. It felt like walking through a temple. The recruit whispered, "Sir, do you feel that?" And the captain answered, "Yes, it feels like standing on a grave." At the end of the path, a quiet station turned, smaller than theirs, shaped like a ring with a hollow center. No weapons showed, no patrols, no banners, only stillness. The human voice softened. "Dock." The captain looked at the recruit. "We dock." The clamps touched with a gentle click. The airlock cycled. The door slid open. There was no guard waiting, no soldier, only a long, empty hall lit by a soft blue like the pillar below the ridge. A final message printed itself on the wall. In light, simple as a child's drawing, a circle, a line, a door. The voice spoke one more time, very close now. "If your hands are empty, so is our blade." The recruit let out a breath he did not know he held. "Sir," he said. "What do we do?" The captain stepped through the door and answered in a steady voice. "We remember." And the lights along the hall rose like dawn. inviting them forward. The air inside the ring station was still, too still. The captain stepped through the door first, his boots echoing on the polished floor. The youngest recruit followed close, eyes wide. The commander hesitated, but forced himself forward, whispering, "It feels empty, like no one lives here." The captain replied softly, "Empty places can still be full of power." And the hall stretched on with blue lights glowing like veins. Strange symbols flickered along the walls, shifting before the eye could catch them. The recruit whispered, "Sir, are they watching us?" The captain's voice was low. "They always are." Their steps carried them into a vast chamber shaped like a circle, the floor smooth, the ceiling lost in shadow, and at the center a tall figure of light appeared. Not flesh, not solid, but a projection made of pale energy. The recruit gasped. "It's a human." The figure did look human, tall, broad-shouldered. No face, only light shaped like a mask. The voice came from everywhere, calm and deep. "You are not the first to walk here, but you may be the last," the commander muttered. "What are you?" The figure tilted its head. "Memory." The captain stepped forward. "Then speak. Why now? Why after so long?" The figure's light pulsed. "Because forgetting is dangerous. Your kind forgot us. Your leaders buried us in stories, but we did not sleep. We watched, we prepared, and now the galaxy grows careless." "Soft, proud. This is the moment to remind," the commander snapped, fear sharp in his words. "Remind us of what? That you can destroy us at will." The figure answered, "Remind you that survival is not your gift alone." "We survived what?" "Your empires could not imagine," the recruit whispered. "If you survived, why hide?" The figure turned toward him, the mask glowing brighter. "Because the dark is patient. The dark does not boast. The dark builds strength. While light wastes itself in pride," the captain said. "And now you choose to reveal yourselves." The figure's tone hardened. "Now we choose to test you." The chamber floor shifted, panels sliding open, and 3 paths lit up with different colors, red, white, and black. The figure spoke. "Each path shows how you see us. Red if you believe in war, white if you believe in peace, black if you believe in silence. Choose and learn what truth lies within." The commander stepped forward quickly, pointing at the red. "War, it is the only way. They respect only strength." But the recruit pulled him back. "No! You saw their power. War is suicide." The captain raised his hand, stopping them both. "We choose nothing in haste." The figure waited without sound. The captain studied the paths, then asked, "What happens when we walk one?" The figure replied, "Then you will see, and you will not walk back." Silence stretched heavy. The commander hissed, "This is a trap." "Oh," but the recruit whispered, "Maybe it is a test of trust." The captain stepped forward and chose the black path. The floor beneath them glowed, carrying them down into darkness. The commander shouted, "Why this one?" The captain's voice was calm. "Because silence is stronger than war and softer than peace, and humans love silence more than anything. They lived in it for centuries." The corridor closed behind them, sealing them in. They walked through shadows until the walls bloomed. With images, not alive, but sharp like memories, battles of fire, cities falling, skies torn apart, then new images, hidden fleets building in silence, men and women working with quiet hands, children raised under stars no one else could see. The recruit whispered. They were hiding, but also growing. The captain nodded. Yes, they chose silence so their enemies would forget while they built the storm. The commander's voice cracked. And now we are in their storm. The corridor ended in a chamber of glass. Outside stretched a graveyard of ships, hundreds of alien wrecks drifting in silence, their hulls torn, their crews long dead. The recruit pressed his hand against the glass, whispering, "Whose ships are these?" "The voice answered from the walls. "Those who thought we were weak, those who shouted too loudly, those who believed we were gone." The commander stumbled back. "You slaughtered them." The voice replied, "No, they slaughtered themselves. By choosing pride, we only gave them the silence they earned." The captain's jaw tightened. "And what do you want from us?" And the voice whispered, "We want you to decide. Do you carry our warning, or do you carry our wrath?" The chamber shifted again, the floor rising like a lift, carrying them back into the central hall. The figure of light still stood waiting, its mask burning brighter. "You chose silence. You saw what silence means. Now you must speak. What will you tell your council? What will you tell your people?" The commander shouted. "I will tell them you are monsters." The recruit shook his head. "I will tell them you are shadows that never died." The captain stepped forward, his voice steady and strong. "I will tell them you are real, and that we are already too late." The figure leaned close, the mask filling the captain's sight. "Then remember this, fear is only the beginning. We are not returning. We have always been here. We only waited for you to look." The light blinked out. The hall went dark. Alarms on their shuttle beeped. As if nothing had happened, the door behind them slid open to the docking bay. Their ship waiting, the recruit whispered, "Sir, was it real?" The captain's voice was flat. "If it was not real, then fear is a dream, and fear does not build fleets." They boarded, the engines lit, and as the shuttle pulled away from the ring, the stars shifted. For just a breath, dozens of black ships filled the void around them, then vanished like smoke. The commander clutched the seat. "They will kill us all," the recruit whispered. "Maybe not. Maybe they want us to change." The captain stared into the dark, his words soft but heavy. "No, they want us to remember, and remembering is enough to end us." The shuttle carried them back toward the colony, but none of them felt they were truly leaving, because behind every star they felt eyes watching, waiting, and the silence followed them like a shadow that would never let go.